In May 1825, in Lexington, Kentucky, days of rain had softened the dirt into muddy slop, yet enthusiastic crowds still gathered. Among them were Revolutionary War veterans, old men who had come to see a guest, a hero of that great war, the Marquis de Lafayette. Lafayette's visit to Lexington came 3/4 of the way through a grueling 13-month, 6,000-mile tour of all 24 existing states, a farewell tour celebrating 50 years since he helped secure American independence. He was met with adulation at every stop. In Lexington, the selected greeter's reverent words included, quote, "We have been taught from our earliest youth to place you in our hearts, by the side of the immortal Washington," and concluded, "Welcome, Lafayette, thou son of freedom, welcome, thrice welcome, to the land of thy early glory." Glory was not an exaggeration. This French aristocrat, from ideals to battlefields to diplomacy, had played a pivotal role in America's Revolutionary War. Even among other Revolutionary War heroes, Lafayette's commitment and love of America stood out. As John Quincy Adams later said, quote, "Pronounce him one of the first men of his age, and you have not done him justice." Marie-Joseph Paul Yves Roch-Gilbert du Motier Marquis de Lafayette was born into a noble French family of immense wealth and a long tradition of military service. In 1777, at just 19 years old, he was so captivated by the ideals of the Declaration of Independence that he purchased a ship, left comfort behind, and set sail to join the American Revolution. He went without the permission of his king, Louis XVI, and without saying goodbye to his wife. Writing to her as he sailed, he explained he was going, quote, "as the defender of that liberty which I idolize, and believed the welfare of America is intimately connected with the happiness of all. She will become the respectable and safe asylum of virtue, integrity, tolerance, equality, and a peaceful liberty." For Lafayette, the American Revolution was more than a political war. It was a fight to save a new nation founded on enlightened principles of human rights. His idealism and enthusiasm led him to offer his services to the Continental Congress without pay, an offer they, tired of inept foreign volunteers, were initially hesitant to accept. However, his wealth granted him access, and his sincerity and dedication endeared him to General George Washington, who would call him, quote, "my adopted son." Reflecting on Lafayette's conviction, John Quincy Adams proclaimed, quote, "To the moral principle of political action, the sacrifices of no other man were comparable to his. Youth, health, fortune. He gave them all for toil and danger in a distant land, and an almost hopeless cause. But it was the cause of justice and of the rights of humankind." Lafayette's support for the American cause was not just rhetoric. He proved his commitment on the battlefield, literally bleeding for the cause. Like many French aristocrats, Lafayette had military training, but no practical fighting experience. Despite this inexperience, the Americans almost immediately made him a major general in the Continental Army. During the Battle of Brandywine in September 1777, Lafayette eagerly pushed to join the fight, convincing General Washington to send him into his first real battle. The next day, Lafayette modestly wrote to his wife, quote, "Our Americans were finally routed. While I was trying to rally them, the English honored me with a musket shot, which wounded me slightly in the leg." Despite the loss, Washington was so impressed by Lafayette's courage that he wrote to Congress, noting that the young Marquis, quote, "possesses a large share of bravery and military ardor," and recommended him for a higher command. By age 20, Lafayette had commanded 2,200 American troops. At Barron Hill, Monmouth, and Valley Forge, Lafayette consistently proved his bravery and skill. His belief that all men were created equal was also evident in his leadership. He lived and ate with the enlisted men, sharing their hardships, and treated all, including enslaved soldiers and the Oneida Indians, with respect. His inclusive vision of liberty set him apart as a progressive human rights hero, even among his contemporaries, enlightened American revolutionaries who were themselves ahead of their time. Lafayette's final major Revolutionary War engagement was the siege of Yorktown in 1781, the battle that effectively ended the war. At Yorktown, he commanded American troops blocking British escape routes, coordinated with French forces, and led assaults that tightened the noose around General Cornwallis's army. While many contributed to the victory, Lafayette's role was especially praised in the American press. One newspaper reported, "The general who contributed the most to the success of this great enterprise is without contradiction the Marquis de Lafayette." While indispensable, Lafayette's direct battlefield contributions alone did not warrant such high praise. His work soliciting help from France was equally crucial. Earlier, in 1779, after his early campaigns, Lafayette had been granted leave to return to France, seeking additional support for the American cause. While there, he worked with Benjamin Franklin and John Adams, leveraging his aristocratic connections and the respect he had earned on the battlefield to persuade King Louis XVI to send more troops, supplies, and naval power to America. Franklin wrote to George Washington that Lafayette's, quote, "zeal for the honor of our country and firm attachment to our cause were instrumental in securing French aid." When Lafayette returned to America in 1780, the French support he helped obtain, including 6,000 soldiers and a powerful naval fleet, bolstered American morale and provided the military strength needed for the final stages of the war. At Yorktown, Alexander Hamilton said of Lafayette, quote, "The United States is under infinite obligations to him beyond what is known. The French army now here would not have been in this country but through his means." Lafayette is not officially a founding father. He did not initiate the American Revolution, but he loved America, and his contributions to the Revolution were significant and heroic as any American patriot. In 1781, after securing American victory, and still only 24 years old, he sailed back to France. The French Revolution would bring Lafayette prison and pain, leaving him with a complex legacy in his homeland. But his actions during the American Revolution forever earned him a place in the hearts of the American people. America's veneration for Lafayette was unmistakable during his farewell tour. The Kentucky Gazette captured this sentiment, proclaiming his, quote, "character and name have united all hearts and hands," and declaring the name Lafayette inseparable from the cause of liberty throughout the universe. When he passed away in 1834, the United States mourned our Marquis as if he were the last surviving founding father, because in many ways he was. The young, passionate, and charismatic Lafayette reminds us that the idea of America as a nation of liberty transcended its shores, inspiring hope among people across the world who, like Lafayette, believed in the universal cause of human rights. During his farewell tour, Lafayette proudly declared, quote, "I am an American after all." Indeed, he was one of the very best.